Latrell Miller, owner of the Loop Brandon Boutique. Follow us at the Loop 2150, the Loop 2150, doing the I Am Black History series where I want you guys to really zero in on it. These are some of the items. If you go to the Loop2150.com, you'll be able to follow us. Big shout out to my boy T, Morehouse brother. Big things popping. Watch the podcast. Follow the Loop. Peace.
This is Lauren over at Wolf Cuts Grooming. I'm just checking into Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, where they think they know everything, but they really don't know shit.
Yo, this Bruce D. This Bruce D with Illinois Express Inc. Delivery on Demand Delivery Service. And you checking out Chicago Clubhouse, where they think they know everything, but they don't know shit.
Yo, we're back. Episode 3. And this is a podcast where we think we know what we're talking about, but we don't know shit. But tonight, we got some people who actually do know shit. So first, let me bring out my All-Star team. JB.
T, what's happening? Good evening,
What's good
bro.
with you?
All right.
How you feel, brother?
Feel great, man. Love, blessed, man. Just ready for another hype show.
Boy, we about to chop into this lumber tonight, boy.
I see we twinning with the hat.
Twinning.
No matching hat here tonight.
Hey, Will.
Hey, Will.
You ain't a Bears fan, man. You ain't a Bears fan.
I'm not a Bears fan.
Matter of fact, I shouldn't even send you no email.
Hey, Will, we got you some gear coming in the mail, though, but it's just going to take like a month.
No. I appreciate Bears gear. Don't get it tripped. Don't get it wrong. I do appreciate Bears gear. I really do.
So, man, we got a guest host today. I mean, he really needs no introduction. He's a good friend of the podcast. He has his own podcast, actually. He's a Chicago radio icon. His podcast is called what more can I say? That shit is hilarious, but almost got me in trouble the other night. But I'll talk about that later.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, let's bring him in though. Let's bring him in. Big Toe.
What's up? Live for the
with you?
What's up, fellas? JB was good, everybody.
Good, Tom. It's good, family.
See, me and JB go back way, like he know me since I was a kid.
Way back when we was hooping in the cage.
Hooping in the cage, but I could halfway play football. You know,
halfway. Hey, 2 more dudes, man, and these dudes, they got sources.
They got sources. I like
but
that.
We've been waiting to get them in the clubhouse, man. These guys they analyze the hell out of the Bears. So let me bring them in, man, so we could chop it up with them real quick. I know they got to go to sleep. They're on the East Coast over there. So
okay.
All right, so let me bring in Draft Dr. Phil.
What's up?
What up, Draft Doctor?
How's it going, boys, tonight? What more can I say?
Love it.
Ready to get into this. And the smartest man, Shane.
What's up, fellas? You said
What's up
they don't know shit. We're the perfect guys to have on. So.
Nah, y'all know shit. Y'all know shit. Yeah, y'all know shit, man. But let's go ahead and get started with this quarterback situation. So Stafford is out the way. Wentz. Some people say we didn't dodge a bullet, but I say we dodged the bullet with that. We didn't want him. We don't need him. He didn't even want to come here. So
yeah, that's
Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
It's awful quiet. I'll kick it off there. I brought it up a long time ago. I'm more intrigued by Darnold. He's better than the option that the Bears have right now. Kid's still only 23 years old. You know, you see Adam Gase, who's literally has Coke coming out of his nose during his press conference, looking at tacos. You want to hand over your franchise quarterback to that guy. So, which is that going to be better in Chicago? I mean, if it comes down to that being your only option, Sam Darnold, I'm definitely going to look into that. But the end game here is what's going to happen in Houston. I mean, Chicago, you can say that there's no way they don't have the ammo. And hey, everybody in Chicago they're desperate.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
about the situation and Chicago, because I heard last week, and I found this interesting, and I didn't really get into it, but I heard that the owner of the Carolina Panthers said that he would do anything he could.
Yeah.
Go get Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a question. What happens to Teddy Bridgewater now?
Well, that was someone Ryan Pace tried to sign. In fact, it was Tom Brady and it was Teddy B that he was trying to sign, all while that was last year, while carrying Mitch Trubisky. Obviously, Trubisky and Nagy, that relationship is something that is unrepairable. I've documented this on our show and my video series, Draft Dr. Phil's Tape Never Lies, on our channel, the Tape Never Lies Network. You can go check those out where the tape doesn't lie. I've coached, I've played this game. I try to put fans in a place where you're a student of the game as well as knowledgeable about the game to show you exactly the issues going on with the Bears. And to Shane's point here, Sam Darnold coming out of college, that kid had all the talent you could ever want in a possible prospect at quarterback. It's the guy that has the clay. So, yeah, Teddy is a possibility. The issue, though, in Chicago is one Matt Nagy, the head coach, because I thought Mitch Trubisky had a ton of talent. I was that guy, and I'll keep it 100 with you guys, that lost my shit when he traded up and it wasn't Deshaun Watson. So here we are again in the pocket, if you will, with Pace and Chicago. And I've said this, and Shane could tell you 100 times. I keep it real. I don't give a shit about the Chicago. Can you swear on this show? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You cussing for 3 minutes and then he asked.
I'm so used to our show and same time slot almost. The reality is, I had questions about this organization and Deshaun Watson being a black quarterback and them being biased towards it. It's happened many times. I've said it 100,000 times on our show. I'll say it again. An issue is Ted Phillips is huge. Fans and blog boys, as I call them, these nerds that write these freaking stories that have a narrative to run, they say one thing. The tape tells me something different. Any quarterback coach, anybody, an agent, an NFL scout watching Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson, and they come away saying, well, there's a lot more talent in Mitch. They're not doing their job, okay? So now you're in this place. We'll trade everything for Deshaun Watson now. When you had the opportunity then, if race was a part of it, which I think it was, keeping it a buck, look at the two quarterbacks, two generational talents you missed. How you still have a job after that is lunacy. But I digress on that. I'll go even further, the truth. You signed Mike Glennon. Mike motherfucking Glennon. He couldn't start on my JV team. But he got this big money to hide the fact that you're trying to hide Mitch. Now listen, I'll keep it. Shane will correct me. Me and him go at it sometime. A lot of these guys, including Louis Riddick, put Mitch Trubisky on a pedestal. It wasn't just
Mitch. Don't you remember that?
Yes.
That came right from Lewis.
Everybody tries to, all these scouts and analysts try to rewrite their history. Terrence, Tone, JB, Big Will, they try to rewrite that shit. But that internet, it doesn't erase. So the reality is, Draft Dr. Phil had Watson, Mahomes, Deshaun Kaiser, and I had Chad Kelly ranked over Trubisky, who had the issues off the field but the talent was there. You know, remember Chad Kelly, Ole Miss, Jim Kelly's nephew, coke problems. I don't know what. But anyway, the quarterback position could have been created a place in history that's never been created here in Chicago. We're there in Chicago because I'm in Connecticut. He's in New York. I won't throw upstate. I'll just throw it later. The reality is there's issues with the GM, the owners, the collaboration, and the condescending, and it all boils down to being ignorant. That's my reality of the Chicago Bears. And it's unfortunate because I'm raising children and I'm like, am I neglecting these two boys, twin boys, by making them Bears fans because you're going to go down this road?
Yes, you are.
Or are we going to change it by having shows like this, educating fans, doing what we're doing? And I honestly believe guys like you, Terrence, I mean, we talk a lot. I love what you guys do. I love the truth. Tone, I just did a little research on you. Keeping it a buck. I didn't know because I'm in Connecticut. We got hot 93.7.
They just know me from a sports background. You know, I got, of course, the radio background and tons of that. But like you said, I've talked to other my friends is in sports and sports broadcasts and talking heads, and it's unfortunate here in Chicago that they can't really be as truthful as they want to be because they'll get boxed out of everything. That's the thing with Chicago media in the sense that they can't really say what they want to say when they all know and you can see it. Because I was like, and I actually had one of my friends really try to tell me about Mitch Trubisky. I was like, bro, I know you're a basketball guy, but it's no way in hell that you tell me that a guy that played against, technically, let's just say, I did 22 starters in 2 years on the defensive side of the ball that all went to the NFL in Alabama in the first 5 rounds, that he's no good. Then I was like, then let's go here. Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson both played in the same conference. Mm-hmm. He was nowhere close to how Deshaun Watson performed. Doesn't make sense. So all that being said, I totally agree with you when you say that, I'm sure some race has something to do with it because it makes no other sense to just say a guy that only started 1 year. Quarterback is one of the few positions that you have to have reps to play it. They tried it with Ryan Tannehill, and he finally met the curve when he got into the Titans program. They got to go all in. That's the NFL today. Actually, that's sports today. You have to go all in. You have to hit your window, especially in football, because you're under the cap and you're under this crazy thing called physicality in the sport where you never know who's going to get injured. So year to year, you got to go all in. And before I finish, it was something I was saying when I was talking to a friend of mine, Joy Taylor, and I was like, that Tua thing, I don't know if you should do it right now because y'all rolling, and Fitzpatrick, he's rolling. And I said, I don't understand why everybody hasn't understood the fact that when they watched, in some cases in the NFL, unless it's a true franchise quarterback, you got to roll with the hot hand. It happened to us here. McCown was going to take us deep in the playoffs, and they gave Cutler back his job. They gave and he after McCown was coming off of what was it? I think he was offensive player of the month, a week or something like that.
Yeah,
and
he had that stretch.
And they gave him his job back. But you watch Harbaugh, he rolled the hot hand. Alex could have came back, but they stayed with Kaepernick and got some Super Bowls. It's Super Bowl. But for the simple fact is, I just feel like the Bears, if they don't go all in, we will be terrible for the next 3 to 4 years.
That's the thing right there. You said it. You know, the Bears made the mistake in 2017 by drafting Mitch. Everybody knows that. It's been talked and regurgitated and everything. But what do you make it worse by not trying to fix your mistake? You have a shot right now.
Listen, man, once again, we're about to get into a 40, 50, 60 hour and a half long conversation about how the Bears need a quarterback and how they stink. When it all comes down to the fact that you guys said it already about the race card. Basically, they don't want to win, man. All they want, the Bears don't want to win. They just want to sell tickets. They want to sell tickets and merchandising. That's what it comes down to. You guys can keep talking all this blue in the face and hope for whomever come in here and everything like that. But when it comes down to it, all we want to do is sell out on the lakefront and sell Bears paraphernalia.
I think Deshaun Watson would step into Chicago and becomes damn near an icon on day one. Absolutely. So I mean, I think that sells the luxury boxes. He's going to be the number one selling jersey in the NFL the day that he becomes a Chicago Bear. I totally agree with what you're saying.
Would you trust Nagy to help his career?
That's the thing. Him and Russell Wilson are the only two quarterbacks I believe that can bridge over what Nagy is trying to do offensively. I don't want to go too deep into the X's and O's, but I will. They're transcending talents that can overcome.
Dr. Phil, you're saying the right thing though, because look at it. Think about it. Who did he have? Who was his offensive, his OC when he was a Texan? And we just finding out about Pete Carroll. We already know he's not an X and O guy. He's a motivator guy. And it's the thing. And both of them have excelled in those programs. Deshaun's definitely not a product of any system. He's just a star player that's going to make everybody around him better.
He's that guy that you watch on tape. It doesn't matter the numbers. That's where what I call them block boys. They're looking at how many touchdowns, how many attempts. I'm looking at per play. What this guy is doing with the talent surrounding him is unbelievable. That's why desperate times call for desperate measures, Will. When you're backed into a corner, and we've always said this about the Chicago Bulls. They care. Just keep rolling the fucking McCaskey family up and handing out the checks to the family. That's all they care about. We get it. But our show, you guys, people now have a voice, and fans, especially with COVID, have a lot more power to do and say. I put a ban on everybody. We call them 100 crew. Don't buy any Bears stuff. Don't do it. If you get a gift from grandma, do it. Fine. If you bought it, that's fine. Wear it. I'm going to wear Bears stuff. Support them. Just don't pay them. When they talk down that press conference, I was probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever witnessed as an adult. Like, you are just condescending. Forget about race. Forget about anything. To a entire worldwide. Like, we're in Connecticut, bro. I will tell you, I'll walk down the street with a Bears. Yo, Bears, baby. I'm a huge, and I'm selling my show. I'm telling them, listen, watch our show, do that. Everywhere I go, Bears fans. We have fans list. We have a 20-pack crew in Pakistan for the Tape Never Lies Network, Bears fans. So the McCaskies, like Will has said, they've collected on that for a long time. But now fans are like, you know what? This is ridiculous. You kept guys that shouldn't have kept the job. And I'll say this and then I'll shut up because I'm Italian. I know I talk.
He ain't kidding.
I'm going to say this, though.
You haven't told one lie, not one.
I don't lie. I keep it 100. That's the name of our show every Wednesday night, 8:30 East, 7:30 Central. Keeping it 100 on the Bears. We keep it 100. I look at this football team and I see the talent there. That's the disappointing thing, guys.
Yeah, they're not that.
They're not that far. They're a
talk
quarterback.
About this team like they're 2 or 3 win team. And Will, I think you said it, or maybe it was you, Terrence. talking about is Nagy the guy. Well, if you are lucky enough to be able to bring in a guy like Watson, Nagy doesn't have the juice anymore. Pace doesn't have the juice.
Right.
The fucking franchise is Deshaun Watson. And if Deshaun Watson doesn't vibe with Nagy, guess what happens? He's like,
Yeah,
he's gone.
No,
He's got the juice. You know, it's right now your transcendent player is on the defensive side of the ball, because that's, you know, we've had Olin Kreutz on a lot on our show, and he always says he goes back to when he played. He's like, I went upstairs to Jerry Angelo, and I'm like, Jerry, I'm just gonna keep it 100. Our offensive line sucks. We need help. We need help. And he goes, so you know what he did? 2 weeks later, he signed Julius Peppers to a $92 million contract, and he signed Frank Omiel on the offensive line, and nobody knew who he was, and that's who we got on offense.
Olin's words.
Why do the Bears always suck on offense?
Frank
Because
Omiel?
they don't invest in it. And when they finally do invest, they make the wrong decisions in drafting Mitch Trubisky.
They always do that. And I want to backtrack real quick.
So what?
Hold on, Will. Because I don't want to lose this topic real quick. Will is distorted. I can't hear Will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they'll jump in there, bro.
I don't want to lose this point real quick before you left that.
Go ahead then.
We sticking with the elephant in the room, fellas. I want to throw these names out. Now, we all said Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, generational, franchise-changing talent, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Black quarterbacks. Look at who the Bears have given us. Tell me if I'm missing. Vince Evans.
Yep.
Cordell Stewart.
Yep.
Jeff Blake.
Yep.
My boy from East Carolina.
Henry Burris.
Yep.
Happy Hank.
Jason Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chris Leak, although he didn't play in the season.
Yeah, it's preseason.
I forgot about Chris Leak.
Florida, yeah.
So all I'm saying is, for those, because I'm getting texts and chats like, man, the Bears have had black quarterbacks before, but they never had that black quarterback.
Right.
Right.
They had that face of
They've never had that white quarterback either, though. They've never had a quarterback.
They tried with Moses Moreno to go in the Hispanic. They missed on the Hispanic one.
So
I want to that Cordell Stewart thing.
I mean, but at the time, Cordell was like, he was Slash. He was the hottest thing on the market.
But see, here's the thing, though.
Now, he was at the end.
When they bought Cordell in, they changed the total offense away from anything that Cordell could do. They made Cordell stagnant.
Your shit sounds terrible, Will.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible.
Well, by the time we got Cordell, he wasn't Slash anymore. Like, he couldn't
Exactly.
No. We got, come on now, guys. Y'all,
We got Ash.
We didn't get Slash. We got I don't know.
We got Ash. We got Ash.
He was Slash. He was not Flash. We have gotten every quarterback outside of the ones that we've drafted and decided to put on their downswing.
Yeah,
that is
right.
it. And it's unfortunate, but we know we all like the NFL. And it's a thing. People probably good for 3 or 4 years. You're lucky to have a quarterback that can stay healthy and stay functional and stay being able to put the numbers up for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. The thing of it is that if they don't go all in on Deshaun Watson, or they don't get. I just got a brain fart. I can't remember the quarterback from the Jets. If we don't get him,
Darnold.
we don't get Sam Darnold. If we get,
I like Darnold personally.
Yeah.
So do I.
Because Sam Darnold, they said that I didn't know this. They said Sam Darnold, his receiving core ranked either dead last or second to last.
Oh, terrible. I live out this way.
Sam Darnold right now is younger than Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Who was the #1 pick for Cincinnati. And I mean, Darnold's not, but you're not going to get anybody perfect. And this is where the Chicago Bears are at a crossroads, because they're going to have to invest. If you're looking at Sam Darnold, I think it's going to probably come down to a Josh Rosen type deal when he went from Arizona. And they traded him down to Miami. It was like a 2 and a 5, I think. They flipped for him. But then, I mean, obviously Deshaun Watson's going to be a whole nother level. It's going to be multiple ones. It's going to be, you're going to lose a guy, you're going to lose a young player like Roquan Smith. Is going to be somebody that Houston comes after, Jalen Johnson. But none of that matters if you don't have a quarterback. I've heard people sit here and say, well, no, let's sit and build the offensive line. first and then go get the quarterback. And my rebuttal to that is 5, 6, 7 years ago, the Dallas Cowboys had the best offensive line in all of football for 3, 4 years in a row. They couldn't even make the playoffs. And when they did get there, they didn't win a playoff game. So don't tell me that's what happened to Patrick Mahomes. We had a stat on our show this last week, guys. He ran 495 yards around the field in the Super Bowl because their offensive line couldn't protect. That's not a made-up stat. 495 yards he ran.
Tom Brady.
Somebody was counting his yards and shit.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Brady,
Next gen
42
stats,
yards.
left and right. Yeah, exactly.
Straight back.
But
1,
but
2,
that's
3.
the thing. This franchise is at a crossroads because Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are at the end of their rope and they're desperate. So are you gonna be willing to overpay to go up for a question mark in this draft and invest in your future when you can go to Houston and say, what's the price? And I think it was Adam Hogue today said, well, if the Jets come and up their offer, if you're Chicago, you call back and say, we'll give you more. And if Miami says we're going to up our offer, Chicago calls back and says, we'll give you more. You have to have a starting point because you're going to be
missed since Sid Luckman.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't. Let's wait. Let's build the offensive. We've had offensive lines. You had the greatest football player of all time with no offensive line, Walter Payton. Then they built the line. Then his age was where it was.
Yeah.
And we know the stories there. The reality is this football team is in the history. I don't say we because we totally are against this just always focusing on the Bears, the 85 Bears. You can't live with that. It's 2020 freaking one. You can't even believe it. And you still haven't had the franchise quarterback, the guy like Tom Brady or Drew Brees, freaking the guys up north. They've had 2 Hall of Famers. One's playing with them still. And you're sitting there fucking counting your pieces and your ducks trying to get a Deshaun Watson? No, we get it. Ryan Pace has a history of correcting his misses, right? Let's look at it.
With
Leonard
big money.
Floyd,
Exactly.
Robert Quinn, Adam Shaheen, Jimmy Graham,
Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet.
Oh, whoa.
How about let's go on? Leonard Floyd. No, he's saying he drafted Cole Kmet because he missed. So he doubled down because he missed on Shaheen. We're not saying we like Cole. We like
all right.
Then you got Kevin White.
I was about to say
Allen Robinson. Do you see the pattern here? So now you missed on Mitch. You're gonna have to go out and replace that, and you gotta go all in. If there's a chance at Watson, you gotta do it because then I can build you an offensive line with undrafted free agents and great coaching. That's the worry, though, is the coaching.
Right?
Yeah, but
I'm worried about
you still got to get that piece. You
Right.
have to do it, guys. You do.
But
One
see,
guy
they'll
I'll throw
get
out
their
there.
own way, though. They got to get out their own way. Like I can take it back to where I'm watching the draft, got my little hat on, my little pennant. First round pick. I believe he was the 8th pick, possibly, maybe lower. But it was Cade McNown, UCLA, and I'm like,
12th.
Yeah, they traded down that. They actually picked him up at 12.
so they were
They traded with Washington that year. Washington took fucking Champ Bailey in the slot that we were at. And we went down and
Hall of Famer.
they picked up guys like they got extra draft picks. They got Rosie Colvin, Marty Booker,
Good pick.
guys that were good players. But the most important piece, Cade McNown, was
Who was on the board? That's what I wanted to know.
We missed Champ Bailey. I remember that. I was like,
but you get
what quarterback was Dante Culpepper on the board?
Pepper. Right.
Yeah, Culpepper was in that. It was in that.
Was he on the board when we were picking though, and we traded
They
back?
could have if they didn't trade. Yeah,
They
that
could
was-
have taken him,
That
right?
was the Ricky Williams draft
That
because
was-
New Orleans gave up the
Ditka.
entire draft to Washington. Washington was flush with picks. They flipped us a bunch of picks to come up for Champ Bailey. We dropped back to 12.
Yep.
Donovan McNabb, Achilles Smith, all these guys dropped off the board. Dante Culpepper was gone, and
He was already gone when we traded back.
Dante
That's my
Culpepper.
question.
If they would have sat there,
so.
no, if
They
they would have sat at 7, they could have taken.
All right, so there you go. Another
Right.
good great. I love Dante Coleman.
Oh, me too.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I wanted Donovan McNabb so bad that
Yeah.
draft. Both
Hometown
of us.
kid, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
they stayed. I mean, that Chicago sports got a history of that. I still say, I still have a I don't know, a grudge, axe to grind with Chicago sports when we don't want to draft the hometown kids. Just like we could have had the Bulls would have still been good if we had got Mike Finley instead of Jason Caffey the year they didn't draft him just because he was from
At
the
the
West
end of
Side.
the first round, I was screaming. Then I
I was like, I can't believe it. But again, it's Chicago sports. I do want to ask you guys. I only got a couple more minutes, but I want to ask you guys what you guys think. Because I personally don't. I'm not in love with our receiving core. Do we keep what we got? Do we keep what we got? Do we look to add free agents? What do we do? What do you think?
they have to franchise tag Allen Robinson.
Yeah, they got to tag him.
Doesn't my fear there is, and I know this is going to piss a lot of people off. You're talking about a number. If you extend him out to a long-term deal, the numbers that he wants, they're talking 20, 21 million a year. And if you're going to bring in a Deshaun Watson, then it's a must. You have to have Allen Robinson here. You have to give him a big time threat. The Bears are cash strapped, and I know we have a fuck a cap philosophy on our show that Phil likes to talk about, but the Bears are up against it. They're going to have to make a lot of moves to clear space. It may cost you a guy like Kyle Fuller, unfortunately, that has trade value. Akeem Hicks is another guy that's getting a little bit older. They're going to have to make a tough decision on. But I think that they're gonna franchise him, and I think they're gonna also listen to offers for people to come to them and say, "We'll flip you." You know, I don't think they're gonna get a first rounder for Allen Robinson. I mean, he's a fantastic player. I think you're probably talking about a second round draft pick in terms of compensation, but that's the thing. If you remove him from the team, you have another great big hole that you have to fill. And he's only 27 years old. That's my point. You know, he's still a very, very young guy, can be here for a long time. But the Bears have made so many bad decisions. Like Phil and I are Robert Quinn fans. Robert Quinn hasn't been healthy, but that contract has really been a huge impediment for this team moving forward, making these moves. I think if you were to give Ryan Pace and these guys a truth serum, they would have never given that deal $70 million to Robert Quinn.
Let me say this about the receiving core. I honestly, Tone, looking at it from a coach's eye, I see no accountability. I see a bunch of thugs running the prison, and I see a coach that can't handle that young athlete and hold them accountable to point them and lead them in the right direction to broadcast, to widen their talent. There's no questioning Anthony Miller has a ton of potential talent, but his effort and selfishness is so showcased on the football field. And that goes right to the other guy, Mr. Fighting on the field with the Saints, and then it happened again. And then Javon Wims, and then Allen Robinson. I've caught him at least 20, 25 times loafing, not giving an effort. That shit should never happen on a professional level where you're the leader, you're wanting big money, and you're not going, and David Montgomery's trying to find a hole and you're not even helping blocking. That kind of selfishness is a reflection of the head coach. He's a huge issue, him and Furry. Like, if a guy is loafing on a route, get his ass out.
Get him out.
Send the message to the whole team. This
Phil,
is not going to happen.
I just gotta say that on that mark, and I do get what you're saying. But we've all played football. We all played the sport. Now we haven't played it at the highest levels, but we still understand that the fact of it is when you don't have a quarterback, sometimes people's effort does not match. Because you're like, yo, I just ran this clean route, and he threw the ball behind me. He threw it in the dirt. You're like, I believe that. I believe that, especially the 3 and outs, affects everybody. You're not moving the ball, people missing throws. I think that affects. And then I mean, as far as David Montgomery, I'm glad he learned how to run the football towards the end of the season. He stopped jitterbugging before he hit the hole instead of planting it going. But I still think
David Montgomery is a filthy animal.
You think so? You think he's a good? So do you think he's really good?
He's not only good, he's outstanding.
Wow.
And the offensive line is so poor, so bad that if you go, Tone, do me a favor, go check out my film work, and then you'll see exactly. I've had so many fans reach out to me. You've changed my whole perspective on what is being coached and what is being taught out there. It's so I'm not. Listen, I would just, you want me to be a yes man and just, yeah. No.
No, I research.
I have the integrity. David Montgomery is the best running back I've seen on the Chicago Bears since Walter Payton. He's better than Forte. He's better than Neil Anderson. I put my name to that. And the reality,
you want to talk about jitterbug in the backfield? Look at 22. That's what his last 4 years in Chicago
made more business decisions than freaking Ted Phillips does. The reality, I'll keep it 100. This guy runs with freaking instincts, pride, passion. I'm telling you, there's plays that are so misblocked. He's having to break 3 tackles to get you 3 yards. It's unbelievable when people see it through the eyes of the tape. I would listen. I call players out. Charles Leno, his family, they hate me because I'm serious. I call him Speed Bump Charlie, the Walrus. People are making shirts and authentic jerseys with Speed Bump on the back because the reality of the tape never lies. Listen, like you said, I played at Hofstra University, wide receiver. I dreamt of going to the NFL. I would give my left nut to go to the NFL. I was too small, and that's the reality. I couldn't do it. So I'm not that guy that's like Charles Leno's a effing bum, and God gave him a talent. God gave him a talent. If Charles looked in the mirror and said, I got to be better, I got to do better, then there's no question he would.
Charles got paid. He was a 7th-round draft pick. He started at the bottom.
Yes.
He got a little taste. He had to work
doesn't
for
that
it.
happen to all of them? Leno.
It
Fred Miller.
Yeah.
What's the other boy we had? Jamarcus Webb.
Taco Tuesday. Yeah.
Taco Tuesday. Olin Kreutz didn't pull that. Listen, Tone, you played JB. You played the game, right? You played football, JB?
I did.
So there's a level of pride when you get down in your stance and you're being challenged by an opponent. Each person has that in their heart, whether it is desire or passion for the game. Some people don't love the game like you or somebody else. They are so talented, they're getting paid. That's it. It's up to the head coach and the people surrounding to help them.
Look at Anthony Miller. He got thrown out of a playoff game when
they had a 45-minute meeting.
Sat down with him and said, "Don't go after Chauncey Gardner because this is what he does." And then, it tells you all you need to know about Anthony Miller when the owner, George McCaskey, went on the Score and said how disappointed he was. When he said that,
I was more upset with Anthony than I was with Javon. So. That's what this is.
Yeah, the shit with Javon Wims. We talked about it on our show. As soon as it happened, I would have launched his ass into the stratosphere.
You gotta send a message.
You have to send a message. And then they doubled down with it. We had a guy that watches our show that is lives a couple houses down from Mike Furry. And he said, Mike Furry's words.
This is Mike Furry's words.
I have the single worst wide receiver room that I've ever been around in all of my years of football. He said, I have 2 guys in my room.
When it comes to understanding.
Yeah, that have any type of football smarts and understand what's going on. He named 2 players, Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney.
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
But you could tell, JB. It showcases. There's no questioning Allen Robinson's talent.
No.
But if I was the GM and I'm looking at the tape, I've seen selfish Allen Robinson. Mm-hmm. Now, Tone, you could say, okay, he's pissed off because of this. You know what I say as a coach? Fuck out of here. Go find. I'm gonna put a franchise tag on you, and I'm gonna trade you to the Jets.
Well,
We'll
that's
see you
Get outta
later,
here
and
with
then
that
I'm gonna get.
bullshit.
And
Don't
I'm
even
gonna
move off of the franchise tag, Phil, because this is an important piece. And this, Allen Robinson had that sit down when he was talking about negotiations, and the Bears haven't come to him. I don't want to hear the pissing and moaning about the negotiating, because it's a fucking business. If Allen Robinson doesn't know that at this point, that's on his management's plate, and that's an Allen Robinson problem. I haven't heard Allen Robinson come out and say, "Oh, the Bears don't want to pay me right now," but they fucking paid me 43 or 46 million when I had a torn up knee 3 years ago.
They believed in you.
They paid you then, but you're going to forget about that now. Deals in the NFL get made when you're up against a deadline. The Bears don't have to. Allen Robinson's future isn't in Allen Robinson's hands.
That's what Chicago
Bears.
About.
The Chicago Bears control that. If they want to fucking tag him, Allen Robinson, and if Allen Robinson doesn't want to deal with the tag, then he needs to get with his representation, other players in the NFL, and they need to get that, the NFLPA, they need to get that out of the CBA. They voted for that. It's part of it. Yes, it sucks. I understand. Everybody wants to have a long-term contract, wants that long-term security. It's part of the CBA right now. Sometimes the business end of these deals suck, and it's a cold-hearted fucking business. The NFL doesn't. You think Ryan Pace is sitting back and saying, "Man, Allen Robinson's probably pissed off at us right now." He doesn't fucking. He doesn't care about. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care.
Right.
He's gonna fucking tag him and guarantee him what, $16 million this year. And if somebody wants to pony up for him, they'll pony up for him.
Do you trade him, Tone, to Houston if they want him for Deshaun Watson, Tone?
I don't know if I did, because I like Allen. He's a dog. I like Allen a lot. I like Allen a lot more than I like David Montgomery.
Do me a favor.
Don't ask me about that. I think David Montgomery's good, but I do say I'm before I get out of here, I got to get ready to go, guys. And first of all, you guys are all super smart and super cool and don't know this shit for real. Is that I agree with everybody on here, and we gotta. If the Bears do not go at least go all in, and when we feel like it, or we hear news about them going all in, we gotta trash them.
We're gonna trash. Listen. Hopefully you follow me on Instagram so we could continue this chat, because I want to seriously at Phil Draft Dr. Phil. You'll see me at Phil Atoshin. I'm gonna follow. I'll get it through Terrence.
Terrence, hook us all up, bro.
Yeah, hook us all up, because I want to continue.
Follow me on Twitter right now. I'm currently in Twitter jail at the moment.
He's been suspended for Twitter. Out of the blue.
They sent me a thing out of the blue the other morning. It was for a reply to a Tariq Cohen caption contest.
Oh, wow.
2018.
2018.
I was in my vehicle, and
where's the statute of limitations?
Yeah, my vehicle. I was in my vehicle, and the music was playing in the background. And they gave me a DMCA for the music that I don't have the rights to. And it was just,
oh my God.
I was, and a reply to Tariq. I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
But you should never reply to Tariq Cohen. That's
a Twitter jail story too.
2 years ago. Guys, man, pleasure.
Tone, great meeting you, bro.
All right, Tone.
2 years ago, my son, he plays basketball in college, and he was on the Western Athletic Conference Plays of the Week.
Yep.
So on Twitter, I'm trying to vote. And he had this alley-oop from like way back, and he dunked on somebody, right? So I'm trying to get people to go. And then some like little James Worthy dunk guy won. And all I texted was, "Oh, this is some bullshit."
Yeah.
And I've been suspended for 2 years.
Oh,
on
really?
Twitter?
On Twitter. I go to it and it says account suspended.
Yeah.
That's
probably where I'm at. That's probably where I'm going to be, because I woke up and I said to Phil, I'm like, they fucking.
How do they pick and choose?
They sent me a link and they said, this is what it's from. And it was from a Tariq Cohen tweet. And then I clicked on it to try to go there, but they've already deleted it all and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. But it's probably a good thing.
Do y'all, JB and Will, y'all remember when I said in the group chat, I was like, who the fuck uses Hotmail anymore? Who the fuck uses that?
Yeah.
I knew this was coming.
That dude, the smartest man, Shane, uses Hotmail.
I'm gonna be a lifer with that.
That's not bad,
Hotmail,
though.
dog. I was like, damn, you got a MySpace account still?
Yeah.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad, though, because I see people using AOL accounts.
That's what I
think
said
the
to Terrence.
AOL. At least it wasn't AOL. He said, "I gotta
Terrence wanted
give
me
him
to send him my AOL disc.
That was
the Net Zero,
The dial-up.
Netscape.
Netscape, Net Zero. You got that free
Oh,
disc. You got fucking 45 minutes free on the internet. Dialing up Net Zero.
We had no idea.
These guys, millennials, have no clue.
Yeah,
no clue about that.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question real quick. And I know you said that you got to go to bed. Oh man,
I got 12 minutes.
Sean Desai, or whatever the fuck his name is.
The new
Is
DC.
he really gonna make a difference?
Well,
listen,
the proof is in the pudding, right, Terrence? We gotta, these guys can all talk. I listened to Chuck Pagano when he got here, and he goes, "Yeah, we got these pass rushers. We're gonna get them going this way towards the quarterback." And then you watch the game, he's dropping Robert Quinn in coverage and fucking Khalil Mack in coverage. It's craziness, Sean Desai. The thing that stuck out to me most about him, and I don't know a whole
from
bunch
Connecticut.
Yeah, he's a Connecticut.
I coached against that kid.
He's a Fangio disciple, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And that
might help.
He's been in Chicago for quite a long time. I mean, he was Mark Trestman actually brought him in.
Yes.
Wow.
Believe it or not, he survived.
Yeah,
he learned under Mel Tucker and Vic Fangio and all these guys. Sam Acho, who wasn't the greatest NFL player in the world, but widely respected off the field and everything that he's doing.
Serviceable.
Yeah, great
guy.
He promoted the hell out of Sean Desai. He goes, "I know the Bears, they're not going to go in this direction and hire him, but it's going to be a big mistake if they don't." He was huge on Sean Desai. And when you see a former player say that, I think that stands out because the Bears didn't want to repeat. You talk about this team making mistakes. Brandon Staley, they let him get out of the building. He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams.
Right.
Now he's the head coach of the Chargers. He was a young guy that was on staff. He was the next guy. The Bears see Desai, and I think that he's, in their eyes, is the next guy, and he could be a guy. You never know the way that this league works. He could be a one and done guy. If the Bears have a bounce back year and this defense gets cranked up and they start sacking the quarterback, Eddie Jackson pulls his head out of his ass and wants to play football again. That's going to be good for Sean Desai, and that's the way that this league goes. If you put in your time as an assistant coach and then you come off a hot year like that, these guys are getting scooped up. But
let me say this: you can never tell. There's how many bloggers or insiders they know. Sam has a personal experience, so his voice should resonate with a semblance of truth.
Yeah,
because he's experienced this man in his teaching. Because what makes a great coach is a great teacher. That's the foundation of a coach. Anybody could be a rah-rah guy. Anybody could slam their head against the freaking locker or say a good speech here and there. It's those guys that understand and are maniacal in coaching and putting people in the right places to be successful. And that's really, ultimately, this guy is going to show what crossroads is he taking. Is he the guy that's been so overlooked so many times that this is his shot and he's going out there and he is going to be prepared, maniacal, and put these players in the right position to be successful? Or is he going to be kowtowed and really just a centerpiece where Mike Penton's calling the shots? We don't know. People could say they know. We don't. I'm going to know on the tape game one. I'll know what this guy's talking. What's his theory? How is he attacking? How are you using Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack? Chuck Pagano, just in coverage philosophy with these guys playing off coverage in man concepts 9 yards off the ball, you've already given an advantage. Then not moving Kyle Fuller, you're in the biggest game of the season, right? Against the Green Bay Packers, if you remember, to win to get in. And that's coaching, right? You want to beat your rival, but it also had the crown jewel of winning to get into the playoffs and really turning your season around where you're saying, no, we're winning. They backed in the playoffs. That's the true story. They don't put Kyle Fuller on Devontae Adams and say, you fucking beat us. Yeah. Kyle, you're on him. If we have to double team him, we're going to do it. And we're going to make you throw to these other guys to beat it. Pagano didn't do that. That's not maniacal. Now, is the head coach telling him he can't do that? I don't know. But the aggressiveness that lacked on tape was a Pagano thing. And sometimes, like, we go back to Vic Fangio, 39 fucking turnovers, guys. The year Matt Nagy won the coach of the year. No, Vic Fangio should have won coach of the year because the turnovers and the whole destruction of Khalil Mack coming in and them playing, that's why they won the NFC North that year. Right. And Nagy has dropped the ball ever since. We've documented this. So now a move to Desai, like you said, JB, a disciple of Fangio. Shane telling you about Staley. Is this a repeat of that? Every person is different. I'm a different coach than Big Will down there. We're all different. So how this guy, I cannot be biased. I know his high school, where his roots of football are, and I could say nothing but positive. Those motherfuckers came prepared, hit, and he comes from that culture. So he also was under Al Golden, who I have nothing but respect for at BC. And Temple. Temple tough. You look at Al Golden stuff and the culture he created there. So, and obviously Tressman and all of that, you can say whatever. This guy has been here. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see what this guy is.
Hey, guys, I just got a text message from David Montgomery. It says, where the fuck is Tone at? So
Tone is going to get an education of tape when he watches my tape breakdowns. The miracle worker, I call David Montgomery, because that line, JB, Will, is so bad.
Kills him a lot is – I'm not saying that Tone is defaulting to this, but a lot of people do, unfortunately, is everybody plays Madden and they look at David Montgomery and they're like, oh, this motherfucker's got an 86 speed on Madden. He fucking sucks. That legitimately happens. You saw David Montgomery last year against the Chargers get, the Bears would have won that game
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago would have housed that I think it was 58 yards and he needed to go like another 8 yards. He did that this year versus Houston. Unfortunately, that was the first play of it. But what I'm saying is he housed it. First play of the game, he touched the ball 10 more times.
Imagine that.
A good thing about David Montgomery.
Like you said, that's coaching.
That is absolutely JB.
His motor doesn't stop.
It never stops.
Not stop.
It's unbelievable actually watching it on tape from the coach's angle, which is from behind. So you see what this fucking guy is having to deal with, and it's missed assignments, missed blocks. This guy, I think one of you, the fans, John Centino, he's telling you 0.01 yards on average point of contact. That's number one in the league. That means he's getting hit in the backfield more so than any other back in the league and still burst 1,000 yards. He's the most dangerous player on this offense. It's not even close. That's why I would be remiss if I didn't correct Tone. I hope I didn't offend him. But the reality is, when you watch the tape, it doesn't lie, as we say. And David,
where's the tape breakdowns at? Where can we find those?
The tape never lies. Right on YouTube.
Yeah, I see it all the time. Yeah, that's how I knew it was you.
There you go. Thank you.
You can go to YouTube and type in "The Tape Never Lies." That'll bring us to the our main YouTube channel. We do shows that are via Patreon. If you go to thetapeneverlies.com, You can go there, and it's a
that gives you the defense and offensive breakdown. Then we got draft coverage,
everything. It's $7 a month, and I mean, like, guys, when we're doing our shows, we're doing like our Wednesday night show. We go 3 hours,
right?
You know, and it's not cookie cutter bullshit. It's everything.
We have fun too.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of fun.
Hip hop.
But like on the Patreon side, Phil's Tape Never Lies series, he does a show with his father, who is a Hall of Fame coach. Phil's uncle is Sam Ratigliano, that used to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. They do a show on Saturday mornings called X's with the O's. Last name is Atoshin.
Right.
We just started our draft series on Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. East. It's called the Draft Mob. Phil and I are on it with our friend George Bayless. He's actually he's over across the pond, and he's a huge Bears fan. So we have it all covered. And I mean, for the $7, a lot of people will look at it and say $7 a month, fuck that, but it's worth the $7 investment. We tell people, it's worth like 23 cents.
Always had on Hostess Twinkies and bullshit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You could get all that breakdown. Definitely put me in contact with all of these guys, Terrence, because you know how I feel about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to keep this going,
and we'll keep it going. Yeah, we'll keep it 100.
Brainstorm like a revelation.
Can we talk about any other team but the Bears?
No, we are not going to do that.
We can't talk about any other team but the
Bears. I'm about to cut you off, man.
I have a legit question. I want you guys to feel me on this.
All right.
A certain player that's pretty close to Deshaun Watson, his wife plays for our Chicago soccer team. Any kind of way we can kick the tires on that and see if we can deal?
JJ Watt. Yeah. That's the rumor that's out there, that there is a vibe that he is going to come here and that he wants to be.
But see, is that water cooler talk, or is that like, does that really have some traction?
I don't know. I think people are.
I think there's more. There's a little smoke.
Yeah, I think more so people are connecting the dots because of his wife.
Yeah, and he loves Portillo's.
Yeah, the shitty part is, where did he play his college ball?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, so I think that they're going to be heavily involved, and I mean, if for whatever reason,
Steelers with his brother.
What do we need JJ Watt for? Why do we need him?
Well, if you can't score, you got to prevent everybody else from scoring. You got to roll up on the ball.
Well, yeah, I know that part.
Yeah,
remember that.
Remember, what will he bring to the Bears? That
he will be opposite of Akeem Hicks.
Right.
Hey, so therefore, you would not only have a dominant front, you're talking about something of an elite, because, in my opinion, nobody's better than Khalil Mack. And when you watch what he does, and I know for a fact that he was playing with 3 injuries, that most players, one of those injuries would sideline them. Oh, wow. And that's the kind of effort that I don't think he'll never talk about it.
JJ will have to bite the bullet a little bit and say, I've made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe he wants to make the move for his wife.
To your point, do we need him? No. You need the quarterback. That's the most important. But
and he could be instrumental in putting a bug in his ear.
Exactly.
Remember, John has a no trade clause.
Exactly.
Trade him to wherever, he can always say, nope. Yep. I want to go.
JB, I keep telling fans that when they always come at me with, it's never gonna happen. Never gonna. He doesn't want. How do you know what he wants? Mike Vick sat down with Deshaun Watson. We have a video of it. And he said, these are the 2 teams that you should go to. They're the best for you. The San Francisco 49ers and the Chicago Bears. Mike Vick is Deshaun Watson's idol. So I'm looking at myself. My idol in football would be Walter Payton. If Walter sat me down and these are the 2 teams you should go to, that's going to weigh a hell of a lot more than my agent, who's worried about how much he's going to get percentage of, or anybody else. So Mike Vick went out of his way to tell him that. And listen, like Shane said, listen, guys, Ryan Pace fucked up. We all know. I don't try. He should have been gone. They should have cleaned the whole house. But we are, like Denny Green say, we are who we thought they are right now, right? So now you got an opportunity to go to Chicago and you become a fucking star beyond. You're getting billboards. You're McDonald's commercials. You might even get a burger.
So I think. Did you all see what he said today? He said today that he would bar any trade except for the Panthers, the Dolphins, and
that was a report. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
What was that, Terrence? The Jets.
The Jets he would go to.
I read something said he did not want to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot
to go to the Jets.
100%. Carolina is going to be involved. I mean, it's ready made. They have an aggressive owner that wants it. He played at Clemson. It's there. I think that they're going to be 100% involved. And then if that is the move for them, that takes one more team off the board for a quarterback in the draft. And that's probably where the Bears would have to shift their focus then, is to roll the dice on another rookie, and they're going to have to
talking what at best Mac Jones or Trey Lance. That's all that would be left at that point.
Well, they don't even know.
Yeah,
I love Mac Jones.
Yep,
but that'll be a whole nother show.
Right. He might be Washington.
Guys, I have totally been enlightened. I enjoyed this conversation, even though it was about the Bears. I did totally.
Who is your team? Well,
I don't have a specific team. I love football. That's why I'm intrigued about his tapes. You know.
All right. Well, check it out, Will. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think.
Will, are you on Twitter, Will?
No, I'm not on Twitter. Now I wasn't banned. I just don't go on Twitter.
What are you
on? Terrence can give it to you. Yeah, I was just gonna
say.
What
are you on? What are you on, Will?
I'm on Facebook. I have a Twitter account. I just don't go in there.
Well, follow me on Facebook, Will.
Oh, definitely will.
Okay.
Doing it now. What's the I'm putting in the information.
Same name right there. Phil.
Yeah, we're
just type in Atoshin.
Phil Atoshin, Shane Marsaw. We're both on there.
And I'll accept you guys without a doubt.
Yeah.
My last point, one guy I want you to keep in your back pocket that I'm a huge fan of his tape is Jacoby Brissett. He's a guy that I really think that has all the intangibles. He is just
no.
What's that?
T got to see the tape. He don't like it.
Oh, somebody doesn't like.
He's
got to see the tape. I'm a big fan of him, Terrence. And if you see the accuracy, anticipation, toughness, all those intangibles, if you're not getting a Deshaun Watson, you're gonna have to have a plan. This guy is the perfect type of bridge quarterback when you have that kind of defense that you can honestly win with. So that'll be my final thought and stir you up until we talk again.
Okay. Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about because I didn't like him his rookie season.
Yeah,
the cap friendly. He's not going to cost a lot.
Yeah, he's going to
play the game.
He's going to probably cost you $15 million a year.
That's
he's a free agent, right? But he's going to be a stopgap guy, and I mean, then even with him, you have to double down on the draft.
You got to draft.
Absolutely.
He's that guy that he's not going to be Nick Foles. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You got to get better than this. And I honestly will tell you, Jacoby is better than what we've had. And I've been documented 100 times. Matt Nagy doesn't coach to a player's skill set. He coaches his plays. That's it. So that's the trouble with Matt Nagy. He's not, and maybe, he'll have a miracle and look at himself and try to change. But you could tell Bill Lazor's calling plays or Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Bill Lazor's calling plays, boots and inside zones and action off of it, getting him out of the pocket, helping Mitch and knowing what Mitch does well, because Mitch would be a good quarterback if he was in the Kyle Shanahan, that kind of offensive philosophy. He's not a transcendent talent like Watson and Mahomes, Breeze, and these guys.
Mitch has everything that you want physically in a quarterback. It's just there's a disconnect
processing
between these two things up here. You know, it's up and it's things affect him, and then he gets beat down. And like I said, I hate to even say that, but
he's that kid that you yell at him and you don't get that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yes.
He's the kid you yell at, and that kid's like, okay, and then he walks home and tells his parents that
his mom's calling you. And he's like, why are you yelling at my son? He's really upset.
Yeah.
Back to
big
that
plays are nice.
Jacoby Brissett point.
Yes.
He's black, so it probably doesn't even matter.
Well, I think that's going to change, especially since I know our network has called them out. We've had many a Chicago media, to Tone's credit, admit that they have to watch what they say to the organization for fear that they will be boxed out. On our show, they've said the same thing. This has got to change. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful. And I don't care what political party you stand with or whatever. The reality is this is a serious issue. Fucking Warren Moon had to go to the Canadian League, to get an opportunity. And it's still happening today. Shane told you, my uncle Sam Rutigliano, he said it to me, coaching in that league. He was the first coach to start a drug and alcohol program for players on the hush, where you were afraid to talk about it, to give them a space to get help. And he talked about the black quarterback being so looked at, scouted differently all throughout his time coaching. And that's what I was brought up on. Big plays are nice. Great players are nice. You got to leave whatever, like my guy is Mac Jones. It's not because he's white. It's because it's Mac Jones. I don't look at, you know what I'm saying? He can play. That's what I look at.
His accuracy off the
chain. And you can't scout people like Alabama quarterbacks. That doesn't work. Every individual kid is different. So you have to look at them.
Anybody that ever says, he went to Alabama and they don't have good quarterbacks, I always say, well, who was the last great Clemson quarterback to come out other than Deshaun Watson? Who was the last great safety / linebacker to come out of New Mexico, since Brian Urlacher?
You got to look at the players. That's what we do. We stand for the truth. That's why I love Terrence. That's why I'm happy to come on the show anytime.
Yeah, JB, I DM'd you that. I got your request. I DM'd you on Facebook. Great. Gave you all the info.
Great, cool. I'll be in touch with you. I appreciate that.
All right, guys. It was great talking to you,
man. Hey, one thing before you go, I definitely want to shout out your team. Well, you guys too, but your team, because you always show us love at the clubhouse.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Always show us love.
I owe you the video. I will film it tomorrow. I promise, and send it to you.
My wife looked at my Facebook account. And she's like, "Who's this guy with his dog shitting on the sidewalk?" And I said, "I'm going on a show tonight."
Yeah, our crew loves the clubhouse. You guys are tremendous. All of our guys. I always keep it 100. We have 100 crew fans, JB. They call themselves 100 crew. I always share and want you to share. Like I said, we bring people on our show that talk about the Bears when they know and have passion and truth to it. So, like I said before the show, Terrence, it's well overdue for you to come on and talk it up with us. So, on that note, I'm gonna go. I totally appreciate jumping on with you guys. I wish I could stay on longer. Tomorrow I'll be doing a 3-hour show.
Right, yeah.
And
like Gilligan's Island.
In the link, and I'm gonna tune in tomorrow. So if you see
I'm gonna shout you out.
You'll see how quick we go off the rails on this show. We do lots of crazy shit.
You'll see some funny shit. We always start. I'll say this: tomorrow night, you're gonna want to be ready at TTNL for the open of the show. There's a lot of funny shit that has transpired. So I always take what happened previous show and I put together a little highlight and then things that happen. Yeah, so you'll see.
7 Eastern?
That'll be 7:30 Central.
Yeah, 8:30 East. Yep.
Yeah.
Great. My son's game will be over by then, and I can tune in.
I'll be tuning in.
Right. And I'll send you a shout out. to the clubhouse and you two.
For
All
sure.
right, boys. Have a great
Appreciate
night.
y'all.
Love.
Later,
All right,
guys.
homies.
One love to you.
Yep. No
Thanks,
doubt.
fellas.
JB, what a show, man.
You
What
know
a
what?
show.
I'm looking, if we look at our comment section, now we didn't have many questions, but we had a lot of comments, which is great because that's just more time for us to stick with our guests. But the one thing I really, really like, it's all about the real talk of the sports, not the national media, which gives us that cookie cutter kind of fabricated, washed over brand.
Right.
You're supposed to stay politically correct all the time. Damn that sometimes, man. Sometimes we gotta get into the nitty gritty of what's going on.
Exactly.
And sometimes if on a national scale, people don't really know. They just know what, like he said, like what a Louis Riddick will say, or what maybe a Stephen A will say or something. But we have a lot of knowledgeable fans, a lot of knowledgeable media here right in our own city, and we're so boxed in. Nobody on the national level knows how boxed in we are, whether we listening to Waddle and Sylvie or whether we listening to Cap and Company. It's always the same kind of like looped type of questions and responses. And we get tired of that. It's wonderful to have some other people with a real voice. I love those two guys, man.
Yeah, man. That's some good dudes, man. But I gotta get Shane to step up his email game. He's still rocking with that Hotmail.
We just gonna be some Hotmail emailing people because we gonna stay in tune with those guys. I love talking sports with knowledgeable cats.
Yeah.
Their charisma and their energy was off the chain, man. Keep this going, man. It ain't all about Stephen A and Max, man. We got some people with some real knowledge here that will keep it real too.
Yeah, we gonna keep this going, man. Phil and Shane, they some good guys, and they know shit. We may not know shit, but they know shit. Well, shit, I mean, we've been on for an hour and 12 minutes, man, and Will dropped off. JI never showed up. Tone had to go. Phil and Shane, they had to go get their beauty rest. So we might as well just call it a show, man.
And I will see you tomorrow. I'll call you after Cam's game.
For sure. Okay, for sure. For sure. Okay. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all, man. We saw all y'all, Alex, John, Antonio, Anthony, everybody. We see y'all. We appreciate y'all. We hope y'all keep watching. Yeah, we'll definitely drop in as guests as long as Phil and Shane have us.
Absolutely.
We'll be there. But yeah, man. Yeah, that was fun, Shane. A lot of fun, man. So yeah, we're gonna get on out of here. The podcast where we think we know shit, but we don't know shit. Those guys, they know shit, man. So all right, we out.
Peace.